Hey crew, it's Pit, and I'm back with the weekly tarot for our INTP Alternates. We will be pulling 8 cards from the Divine Feminine, 8 cards from the Divine Masculine, in order to best manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit and in accordance with our 8 chakras. Before we begin, however, if this is the first time that you've seen my smiling face, or if you do not know what the words ideas, new, self, control, or informative mean, I suggest that you fall back and check out the video that is entitled Have You Been Doing MBTI Wrong? Because there is a very good chance that you have. Now that we have gotten a quick reshuffle of the deck, I did a pre-shuffle and a pre-meditation on the cards before we began, but I like to shuffle it 2 more times just to make sure everything is exactly where it needs to be. Now we will pull beginning with the base, and we have the 7 of Pentacles. In the sacral, we have the 2 of Swords. In the solar plexus, we have the 3 of Swords. In the heart, or the 2 of Swords, the 3 of Swords are reversed. And in the heart, we have the 9 of Cups in the reverse. In the throat, we are looking at the 2 of Wands. In the third eye, we have the 9 of Swords. In the crown, we have the Ace of Cups. And rounding out our message from the Divine Feminine on the bottom of the deck, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Next up, I will be pulling 8 cards from the Divine Masculine. The Divine Feminine, which is on the deck already, is letting us know what the current situation is. The Divine Masculine will let us know what steps that we can take in order to bring about our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. And so, with this last little quick ripple, we will begin pulling, beginning with the crown. In the crown, we have the Death card. In the third eye, we have the 6 of Swords in reverse. In the throat, we have the Page of Pentacles. In the heart, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. In the solar plexus, we have the 8 of Pentacles. In the sacral, we have the 10 of Swords. The 8 of Pentacles was reversed. Here in the base, we have the 6 of Cups in the reverse. And rounding out our message from the Divine Masculine with the actions that we can take, we have the Sun. Now let's dive in and see what the cards have to tell us. We begin in the base because it is base existence. This is, do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have a car? Do you have food? Do you have money? This is basic provision. This is the things that you need to live in life. This is the area that governs love and wrath, so you may be giving away a little bit too much affection. You may not be getting the affection you feel like you deserve. Neither one of those are necessarily a good thing. For you in particular, as an INTP alternate, your base is going to be governed by the SE, which is all of the new things, the new experiences, current experiences, current things, and exploration. And so, what we have for you is the 7 of Pentacles. The 7 of Pentacles is the Harvest card. This is the culmination, the first part of the earthly path, right? Not the greater understanding, but the lesser understanding. This is the end of it. This is the culmination of something. This is a good card. This is, you have been working diligently, right? You have planted all of your crops. You have watered them. You have fertilized them. You have fed them. You're about to harvest them. They are ready for harvest. This is the end of it. This is the completion. That's a good card. Pentacles have to deal with body. It is earthly. It is the same as the base. Do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have food to eat? Do you have money? That's what Pentacles governs, and that is what the base governs. And so having the harvest of the earthly path in your base is a good thing. But clarifying that with actions that can be taken, we have the 6 of Cups in the reverse. Now, when the 6 of Cups is standing tall, this is a cup of emotional fulfillment, right? You have overcome the challenge. That is what the 6s represent. It is right before the harvest, right? Now, cups are about emotions. This is body water. Pentacles are body. This is body spirit. This is about emotional connections. It can be familial connections, it can be spousal connections, it can be work connections, it can be just your friends, but it's not about the people, it's about the connections, the emotions attached to it. This is a card of completion, overcoming. This is reminiscing for some people. They like to see this and they think these two children is somebody reminiscing about their childhood, and that very well can be. But this is, you have overcome the challenge of the emotions and you are reaching the emotional maturity that will come with the 7. This is the last step before that. This is nurturing. This is investing energy. This is the fertilization of the crops compared to the harvest or the sowing. Right? You have this here. Now, in the reverse, this is more of a negative card, right? Some people see the reversals as entirely negative. I do not. These are steps, right? This is the current situation with the Divine Feminine. These are steps that you can take with the Divine Masculine. What is being explained here is you don't take a step. Someone else is taking the step, or that you are resistant to this step. Now, if it's in the feminine, it's more of a you are resisting currently. Well, if it is in the masculine, the steps coming is a resistance, right? And so there is some type of a challenge emotionally that you are overcoming. You are in the process of it, but you're not quite there yet. There's still some more steps to be taken, and you may be misunderstanding those steps. This is a card about fulfillment, right? Right before the harvest, you're getting all of the good things ready to harvest. This is not quite ready. Let's see if we can get some further clarification, because you've got the harvest and then you've got not quite to the harvest. And so while this is currently happening on the mortal plane, something about it spiritually is just not aligned quite correctly. Now, next up, we're going to the sacral, and the sacral is about physical generation. This can be sexual. It is the area that governs lust and chastity. And so you may be giving away a little bit too much of your mortal affections. You may not be getting enough of the mortal affections, and neither one of those is particularly good. For you in particular, the sacral is going to be FI. What do I feel about this situation, and what are my morals? Now, morals are what you think is right. Ethics are what everybody else thinks is right. You're going to have a hard time with this, right? Setting morals, right? You're going to have a hard time choosing between good and bad, right? You don't really understand it. You know that other people do, right? You know that other people have set their ethics. You just don't really extract those for yourself. You don't really put them into play for yourself. And that's a challenge that you need to have, or you need to rise to. The sacral and the trickster are the same energy. So you are being deceived by what you think, right? Or by what you feel. Your feelings are betraying you. And you're going to choose this wrong about 70% of the time. Now, what we have here is a choice that you are not making, right? The current situation is that you are not making a choice. 2s are about the choice. Aces are, hey, look, there's a path over here. 2s are you going to choose to walk that path? Now, you have this in the reverse, which means that you are resistant to making that choice. You are resistant to making that change. This is a swords card. Swords are soul, air, thought, intellect, and communications. And so there may be a communication that you're waiting on in order to be able to make the choice. There is something, a thought or an idea that you were waiting on in order to be able to make the choice. Now, that is being clarified by the actions you can take as a 10 of swords. This, for a lot of people, is a betrayal card. I don't necessarily view it that way, but it's understandable why they do, right? There are 10 stabs in the back here. Now, a 10 is about learning. You may be learning something about some other person, right? You have this in the reverse, like this sword. And so this is letting go of regrets, something along that nature. Actually, let me check real quick and make sure that I did not get that wrong. Okay, so I did get that wrong. Sometimes I do that. I pick it up and then I get it wrong and I have to check. But you don't have it in the reverse. This is a past regrets affecting you, right? This is learn something and it may be affected to someone betraying you. That is definitely a possibility. That is how some people interpret the card. But you are learning something in this process so that you can make a decision, right? You're not making the decision currently because you are missing some key piece of information. There is something about the higher path that you need to learn in order to make this decision. Next up, we're going to be going to the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is quite literally what turns your food into fuel. It's tied to your stomach. It is the area that governs gluttony and temperance. So you may be over-consuming some of the things of the mortal coil. You may be under-consuming some of the things of the mortal coil. Neither one of those are particularly good or bad. There is a balance to be stricken between all of the virtues and the vices. For you in particular, the solar plexus is going to be guided by your best possibility, right? What you see as the best possibility, what is the best choice to make out of this? But you get it wrong a lot. There is about a 50%, maybe even down as low as 40%, that you get it right. And so most of the time, you are not doing it. You see all of the possibilities, but you have a hard time choosing those possibilities. You have a hard time narrowing it down. And it's not personal, it's just the way that the stack works out. Now, we have a Three of Swords. And this, again, is another one of those cards that people look at as a betrayal. And so there may very well be a betrayal. Something about this, the Six of Cups that is backwards here, that you have to, you are overcoming and there is growth involved, may involve a betrayal. Now, this one is in reverse. This is a current situation. Whereas the 10 here was a future situation, actions that can be taken. This, when it is standing tall, some people look at as a partnership falling apart. Now, this can be multiple people, it can be just a couple, but it is probably going to be more just because there are three swords and not two. This sword has stabbed the heart 3 times. This can be heartbreak. This can be something along those lines. Now, the solar plexus is what really drives pretty much everything. Like you consume with your throat, it's converted in your solar plexus. That drives your base existence, the things that you are currently doing. It drives the things that you want. This is the area of generation in your sacral. You envision it in your third eye. You put it into place here. And so this thing that is driving you may be a misunderstanding about a betrayal, right? That is an interpretation for this in reverse in this particular spot. And it seems to be a fairly good one, especially since you have this betrayal over here with the action that you can take. Now, this choice is dependent upon this betrayal or this learning that you need to do. A 3 is about learning as well. This is the learning card. So you have a lesson to learn with 10 on the thought or communication side. You have a lesson with 3 on the thought or communication side. This is a current energy, the thing that is driving the rest. This is a future energy. So this appears to be feeding into this 10, right? Your current situation, feeding everything. It's telling you that this 10 is what you need to learn about. Now, the steps that you can take to ensure that that happens is a little bit less diligent work. This is the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles is about starting the new higher path. This is the step right after the harvest. Now, you have the harvest in your current situation. You have the next step in your future situation, right? This is feeding into, but this one was actually in reverse, right? So, this, when it is standing tall, is working diligently. He has 6 on the post here that he has already completed. He has 1 right here that he is about to get to work to, and he has got 1 in his hand that he is working on. This is diligent work. This is head down, grind on, right? The earthly path, beginning the new path, except for you, right? It's upside down. Now, when it is in the reverse, that is a don't do this, right? So relax a little bit. You may be holding on a little bit too tightly to control. You have a tendency for that, being a T. And so you may be seeing this as a betrayal, considering it to be a betrayal, but it's not actually a betrayal, right? You may have thought that this option wasn't the right one, but it actually is. This is a head down work card when it is upright. When it is down, it's take a little bit of time for yourself. Take a little bit of time to nurture, to do, right? You are working. Try to work a little bit less. That's what this is intimating. Now, this is action. This is what you were taking. If it is in the passive card, that's what you're currently doing. This is what you need to do. Next, we're going to go into the heart, and the heart is what you want to manifest in your life. This is what you are actively trying to bring in. The as below and the as above come into accordance and feed through the heart into the divine, and that's where manifestation begins. This is the area that deals with greed and charity. Greed, being tied to the mortal coil, is loving things a little bit too much. Charity, being tied to the spiritual core, is not loving things enough. You are meant to be in the balance. You are meant to have some things, not all of the things. You are not meant to give away everything, but you are meant to give away some things. This is about that balance. For you in particular, this is going to be governed by what other people think, right? What is their rationale? You're good at knowing your logic. You're a little bit less good at knowing what other people are thinking about it. You have a hard time understanding how they got to their decisions, right? Now, for you in this particular area, we are looking at the Nine of Cups in reverse. When the Nine of Cups is standing tall, this is a emotional fulfillment card. This is a choice card. There is a choice to be made with all of the nines. This is you not actively making the choice in the same way that you're not actively making the choice with the Two of Swords. This is about emotions, right? There is something emotionally tied into this. When he is standing tall, he has his emotions in control. He has mastered the first path, which is getting control of your emotions. The second path is the practical application of them emotions. This is that, right? This is the choice to practically apply the emotions, and you are resistant to it. You are not doing the emotional choosing. That's what's happening here. Now, clarifying that with the actions that can be taken in this particular situation is the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is a 10 card, which means learning about the new path. This is actions that you can take. The Wheel of Fortune is about sudden change that you don't really control. Right? You may have some control of the inputs, much less control about the output. When it is standing tall, that means that there is a change coming. It may be sudden. It's not as sudden as the Tower, but it's fairly quick. This is a little bit slower energy, right? The wheel is not turning as fast. You are, right, in this position, you are not emotionally fulfilled, right? You are not making the choice about the emotional things. This is changing that around in a controlled manner, right? If it's upright, you're not in control. If it is up in the reverse, you are kind of in control. You are kind of choosing this. Doesn't mean that there is not the change going to happen if you choose not to, right? There is emotional unfulfillment, and so this is going to allow you to be emotionally fulfilled, and you need to be in control of that a little bit. You're really good at controlling them emotions, and so this can be releasing that control a little bit, right? You are meant to have your emotions. You are meant to feel those emotions in an appropriate way. Right? Nobody likes somebody that's crying all of the time, but if there's a grief situation, it's perfectly understandable to cry. Nobody's going to judge you for that. That's releasing an emotion. You are meant to be in control of your emotions, and control does not mean denying. It means using them effectively. This is emotional unfulfillment, and that is what you are bringing in your life. Right? This is about a choice on an emotional level that you don't want to make, right? Now, you know that this choice needs to be made. You don't want to make it. And so, in order to make it in the effective manner, you're going to have a controlled change. Let's see if we can get some further clarification from the spiritual side of things. Now, we're going to move on to the throat. The throat is the area of communication. It is where you communicate. It's your throat chakra. This is the area that deals with pride and humility. So you may be taking too much credit for your work. You may not be taking enough credit for your work. Neither one of those is particularly good. For you in particular, the throat is going to be governed by SI, which is what has happened in the past and what are the best things. Let's organize them. You're going to have a tendency to miscommunicate what has happened in the past. You think you remember it, but you don't remember it correctly. Right? You remember who was there, but you don't remember what they were wearing. Something along those nature. Oh, and you relay that wrong, right? You're like, they were wearing brown shoes. No, they were wearing black shoes. It's not that important of a detail, but you forgot it and you relayed it wrong. And so what we have here is a choice. This is a current situation. This is a change card. The wands are light, life, logos, and change. It's spirit. It is fire. It is all about the change. There is a choice about change that you need to communicate in your current situation. Now, that may have to do with this betrayal that you think happened and may not have really happened. we can see, let's go ahead and do the card, right? He is standing here looking out over the possibilities. Now, he is facing in the past because he has sent out his ships. He has made the choice to send out his investment, right? Investment in the change. He saw that there was a path. He has chosen it. He is surrounded by these two staves, which are the staves of change, and he has in his hand the world. He is looking at all of the possibilities. He is awaiting his return, but it's not there yet. There is a choice to be made. Now, clarifying that is an understanding. This is an understanding of the earthly path. This is a pentacle. Pentacles are body. It is the earthly path. Pages are understanding so that you can rise to meet the challenge with the knight. This is on the higher part of the path, so this is the reinvestment part. This is investing your gains in a beneficial way. So this is an investment of gains into change, which you are making the choice of. This is the understanding of it. This has got to do with the bodily, not the emotional. And so those two together makes me think that there is a choice that you need to understand. It is currently unfolding in your life, and it's probably going to be a good one. Next up, we got the third eye. The third eye is where you envision your future. You put it into play in your sacral. You envision it with your third eye. If you want to write a book, you see the idea here, you write the book here. You create the business plan, you put it into action. For you in particular, the third eye is going to be governed by future feelings and ethics. That is the FE slot. And that is what other people are going to think about this. How is this going to make them feel? And what are the ethics of the situation? Now, ethics are what other people have decided is right. Morals are what you have decided is right. You have a fairly good idea about what everybody thinks is right, even if you don't necessarily comport to that yourself. Now, what we have here is the Nine of Swords in reverse. Now, the Nine of Swords, when it is standing tall, is the card of regret. This is the PTSD card. That's what I call it. He has already defeated 8 opponents. He has 1 sword underneath him. That is his. These are his trophies. But he's not feeling good about those trophies, right? He's feeling remorse because he has had to defeat these enemies. PTSD is quite often linked to what you respond with, not necessarily what has happened. And so he's not happy with the way that this has made him feel, the way that he has acted. This is thoughts, ideas, and it is communication, so there can be a tie to any of those. This is probably the regret over an idea, right? This betrayal that you feel, right? And clarifying with steps that you can take is to leave it behind, right? Now, not necessarily because it is in the reverse, but this is a 6, right? The 6 of swords. It is about change. It is about thought. It is about ideas. In the idea slot, right? This is the communication slot. This is the physical generation slot. This is the sustenance slot. This is the idea slot. You've got 2 idea cards. Oh, wait. This was in the reverse, too. Yeah. And that is let go of regrets, right? When it is in the reverse, you're not regretting the thing. This was in the reverse, too. And so when it is standing tall, this is a go forward. This is a proceed. This is a 6 is about overcoming and growth. You had the challenge. You've defeated it. They are going to a new land. He is pulling them across the water. They are carrying the burden of the defeats that they have given other people. It is the wife and the child. They are going somewhere else. That is a card of go. It is a card of do. You have overcome. Go nurture. Go do. This is a less active version of that, right? You don't regret. Maybe you need to. There is the not regret with the reversal of the Nine of Swords. This is a don't go. And so if you're not feeling the regret about the idea, it would be easy to assume that it's time to jump into something. But this is telling you to take a little bit of time. This is nurture it a little bit. Whatever this idea is, you need to put some more energy into it before you try to enact it, before you try to make this choice of the 9. There is still something left that you need to grow. You still need to feed some energy into it, because the 6 and the Queen are feed energies, right? You just finished the battle. You're not quite ready for the harvest. This is fertilize your crops right before the harvest. Water your crops. They were already sown. You're not ready to reap them. This is just nurture them. And so this idea is saying, don't make a choice. There is something more to understand. This idea, right? This is the idea of what you want and putting it into application. Here you have don't make a choice. Both of these are about the idea, right? All 4 of these cards on the left-hand path are about the ideas. The only one that is upright is this 10. Now, the 10 is about learning something, right? The 6 is about nurturing something. The 9 is about regretting something. The 2 is about choosing something. All of this is about an idea or a communication. Now, we didn't really get a whole lot from the communication slot. There is a choice that has to be made over here. You are making this choice. You are not making this choice. This is the choice about your future, the things that you want in your future, and you're not making the choice. You really need to get over these regrets. Next up, we're going to the crown. The crown is where you interpret what the divine is telling you. You get messages from the divine. It filters through your crown, out through the rest. This, for you in particular, is going to be governed by your NE, which is seeing all of the future possibilities. You're really good at that, right? You are really good at saying, this is what's probably going to happen if you do that, right? You're really good at that. You have a hard time understanding why people do it. You have a hard time understanding how they don't see that, right? That's where your tie-up's going to be right here. You see all of these possibilities. You also have a really hard time choosing any of them, right? It is way down in your solar plexus for you to actually choose the best path, but you're real good at identifying what the outcomes might be, right? If I take this action, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen, and this can happen. But you're not really good at saying, well, this one is most likely to happen. This is the area that governs hope and despair, right? The third eye, I didn't mention it, but it is sloth and diligence. So working towards your goal or not, right? Not making a choice is not working towards your goal. This is hope and diligence, or hope and despair. So hoping when there's no real reason to, holding on to that alchemical gold, or despairing even though everything is going right and really choosing to be depressed. This is the area that's going to govern that. For you in particular, that is going to be the future possibilities and foresight. Now, what we have here is a brand new opportunity popping in. This is an emotional opportunity, right? It is a cups card that is about emotions, the emotional connections, and it is an ace. An ace is a brand new opportunity. It is seeing that there is a new path. Your message from the divine right now is that you are currently seeing that there is a new path. Right? You're not making the choice about it because you're feeling this betrayal that you got to work through. You're not making a choice about this because there's this sudden change that you kind of need to slow down and consider. Right? This is seeing that there is a new path, that there is a way towards emotional fulfillment. Now, that's seeing possibilities for you, right? This is seeing the possibility of a possibility. But it is clarified in the actions that you can take as the death card. Now, this can symbolize a death in very real ways, but not necessarily in this slot. This can be a death of an idea, right? This can be the death of an emotion. This can be the death of a life path, right? Things passing away. This is a new start at the same time, right? When the old ends, the new begins. What we see here is the rider walking forward. He's not running, he's walking forward with his horse. He's got his banner of victory held high. He's got the face of death on. Behind him here is the emperor that he has defeated, and in front of him are his new subjects. This is a change card. This is change is coming. What this is signifying is that this new opportunity is coming, but it's going to require the death of something, right? Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that death is this emotional regret that you are misunderstanding, right? The PTSD card, the 10 of swords, the 3 of swords, all 3 of those are leading me towards, right? You got the reversal on the 9 here and the 3, so you are misinterpreting them or not doing them in your current situation, right? The action is understanding the betrayal. That can be understanding that the betrayal was not actually a betrayal. These two cards together makes me think that you are being presented with a chance for emotional fulfillment. But in order to do so, you're going to have to let go of that control. Right? You're going to have to let go of these regrets. That's going to bring us into the divine message, right? That this is what the divine is directly speaking. That is not tied to a virtue or a vice, but for you, your divine slot is going to be guided by your TI, which is your personal thoughts and logic. You making decisions about things. Now, this isn't decisions about the ideas. You don't do that very well, right? You can see them, you don't make the decision, but you make logical choices almost flawlessly, right? When you are presented with the right information, your logic in using that is pretty close to flawless, right? The way that you do it is fairly consistent. It is a yes/no check, and you make it almost flawlessly. 90+% success here. When you don't, it is because you do not understand other people's rationale. Why are they doing this? I don't get it. You don't have the correct input to get the correct output. Now, what the divine is telling you in your current situation is work diligently. This is the card of diligent work. This is the reinvestment of the new things, right? This is the current situation. You have the harvest right here in your base, right? You were at the end, at the completion. This is the next step. This is working diligently, keeping your head down and reinvesting those gains. You can see that he's got 6 nailed to the post here. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. He's got 6 nailed to the post here. He's got 1 under his feet over here, and he's working on the 8th one. This is working diligently. This is what your current situation is. Right? And what is it going to lead to? What are the steps that you can take? You've got the Sun. This is a wonderful card. It really is, but not necessarily in this context. You've got it in the reverse. Right? This is a 19, and a 19 is going to be a change and a challenge. And so, once again, you are faced with a challenge. This is a change. You don't like change. You are a T. None of the T's like change at all. You may like a new experience somewhat, not even really. You kind of like to go to the same places. You like to eat at the same restaurants. You like to watch the same TV shows. You read the same books. You hang out with the same people. That's you, right? Right? Let me know in the comments if that is you. This card is the 19. 19s are about change and challenge. But this is a good card, right? This is one of the best cards in the entire tarot. You got the Sun and you got the World, and the World is the only card that is any better than this. It's the next card after the Sun. You get the Sun, then you get the World, or then you get Judgment, and then you get the World. So it's 2 cards away from the end. This is all the good things, right? The current situation with the steps that you can take in the current situation to bring about the hard work and diligence. Go through the hard things, right? If this is all of the good things, right? All of the rewards, all of the just wonderful things coming into your life, this is denying them, right? This is denying your emotions, kind of. It is denying your desires in large part, right? This is more about taking the correct steps as opposed to just taking steps. This is taking your time to ensure the outcome to come in the right way. Now, these 2 cards together lead me towards believing that there is a fruitful harvest coming for you, right? But there is still something that you have to let go of in this. You have to not be pleasant, right? This is telling you to keep working hard, keep your head down, keep doing the things that have brought you this harvest. But the things that have brought you this harvest is not the emotional side of things, right? It's not the ideas. It's the hard work. It's the actual practical application that has brought you this harvest. In order to bring about true emotional fulfillment, to get to the Sun, then you're going to have to work through the hard parts, right? You're going to have to do the shadow work. Nobody likes doing the shadow work. It is difficult for everyone. But the shadow is not just realizing that the bad things happen. It is understanding why they happen. It is going back and looking at the motivations, right? Nobody, well, I'll say nobody, almost nobody goes into things with other people's bad outcome, right? Like if you're a parent, you want the best for your kids. but you're not necessarily equipped for them to get the best from you. Sometimes you have emotional scarring. Sometimes you have physical limitations. Sometimes there is a reason why things happen. And when your parents, for instance, punished you for something that you felt unjust, they had their reasons for that. Even if it felt unjust, they had a reason. They were trying to do the best they could with the situation that they had. It wasn't necessarily a betrayal, right? Now, this doesn't just apply to your parents. Everybody is operating on their best understanding. You have a hard time understanding other people's understanding. You're really good at seeing logic. You're less good at seeing rationale. And the rationale is why other people act the way that they do. You are feeling like there is a betrayal because you don't understand the rationale. And stopping and going back and being like, okay, what could have been the motivations for this action that I feel the betrayal behind? And then when you see what those motivations may be, and you're fairly good at seeing that, you're going to have to check it. Use your logic because you're good at that. And logic check. Well, what is the most likely reason that they did this? And that's going to allow you to understand the TE. And then you'll see that it wasn't a betrayal, it was a misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding can be fixed. A betrayal cannot. And so if somebody misunderstood, it's something you can work on. If somebody has intentionally chosen to betray you, that is not something to work on. That's going to bring us to the end of the message, and hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, a share, a follow. Throw me a comment. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Either way, as long as it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you are a reader and you've got a different interpretation, you are more than welcome to drop that in the box as well. Everyone is welcome here as long as they are respectful. If you really like what I am doing, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership or picking up a copy of my book where I teach you to do magic responsibly and MBTI the right way. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt State. Peace.